near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on. God.
Sounded so good, dude.
Thanks.
Boom. Okay.
Okay. Goodness, Stephanie.
I know, she's feeling it, dude. She's feeling good. $54. Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee and Contemplation. This is episode 54. I am Cameron, and with me, as always, Brent.
It's been 84 years.
We'll get to that.
Okay. What's up, Cam? What's up?
Nothing much.
It's been 54 episodes.
There we go.
That is true. That is true. What's up, man?
What's up?
What's happening?
You were just really loud.
Oh, was I? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's so unlike me. A lot of editing early.
Yeah. You're right. It's just very loud on one side.
Interesting.
There we go.
Should I talk out of the left side of my mouth? Will that make it
Yeah,
better?
I think so. For
All
sure.
right, Cam, what's up?
Okay, so yeah, another week of Legend of Korra.
Yes, sir.
This is book 3, Change.
Well named.
Yeah.
Season.
A lot of change for Korra goes on. I guess not even just Korra. Even Bolin, Mako, Asami, Sue,
Jinora.
Yep. That was I didn't want to have you like anticipating like a tear-jerking moment or anything this episode, but I think Jinora's part, which we'll get to, made me tear up more than losing the Avatar life cycles.
In the finale you're talking about? Yeah, I agree. It was awesome, dude. She's slowly becoming one of my absolute favorite characters in the show.
Because they make a big deal of it when Tenzin's training the new airbenders, that she can
trying to train the new airbenders.
Trying to train them.
They do not want to listen to
that Jinora can do everything Tenzin does and might even be better, and she's even stronger with the spirit world than Tenzin is. So she's wondering why she doesn't have her tattoos.
Yep, why she can't become a master airbender. Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty early on in the season, and then they don't really revisit that again until the very end of the season.
Yeah, because the Red Lotus come and start screwing everything up.
Definitely. So let's go through some of the characters and stuff, and then we can talk about kind of the story and how it wraps up at the end. Right? So the first character I wanted to talk to you about and get your opinion about, because we haven't talked about him at all, introduced in this season, I like him a lot as a character. At first I was a little lukewarm on him, but that's Kai. The runaway kid that they meet in Ba Sing Se.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I love Kai as a character. I think he shows kind of what airbenders aren't supposed to be like in a sense.
Absolutely.
Because he's using airbending to steal from people, and that's not what being an air nomad is about. So I think it's cool to see that aspect of him kind of going against the rules of everything.
Yeah, like when you first meet him, he's lying to all of them. He says his parents died and all that, but really he's just like a kid who's lost in life and is a screw up kind of. And then Tenzin is like, okay, give him to, he's talking to the police. He's like, give him to us instead of putting him in jail. We'll help him along the right path. And they do. He has a great redemption story, kind of like, I mean, way shorter, but kind of like Zuko, where at first he's lost and confused. I'm talking about Zuko from Avatar, of course. And but at first he's like lost and confused, and then he kind of finds his purpose, and ends up being a hero.
Yeah.
When they were getting attacked at the Air Temple, he's the one that's like, let me go distract them while you guys try to get away. And he almost dies because of it. I'll tell you what, Jinora definitely thought he died.
Yeah,
because
he
starts,
falls.
Yeah, and she starts crying because they have a little love connection.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't kiss. I thought they were gonna kiss at the end of the season.
Yeah.
There's their little, no spoilers, of course, Cam, having seen the whole show before. But in the final season, season 4, does that little love connection continue? Cool, because they're very cute together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I liked Kai a lot as a character. It's good to know that he's gonna be around a little bit more.
Yeah.
There was another. Who was the other big character that was introduced this season besides the villain? There was another. Opal, and Su Yin, the other two daughters of Toph. Because we knew about Lin.
Well, Opal is Sue's daughter.
Sorry, right, Sue's. Yeah, so the granddaughter. Mm-hmm. But we knew about Lin because she's been around since the first season. We did not know about Su Yin before this season, right? Tell me a little bit about Su Yin and Lin and their relationship.
Yeah, so Su Yin's more of like a rebel.
Yep.
In everything, she kind of gets away with a lot of stuff, and that makes their Lin and hers relationship kind of fractured.
Yeah. With Lin being a cop and all of that.
Does it show the flashback to how? Okay, I didn't know if it was this season or
it's almost a
season
full
4.
episode that happens.
Okay.
Where it's the flashback of when they were fighting when they were kids and stuff, and then
that's how Lin gets her scar.
Yeah, yep. It's when Lin is getting acupuncture that she remembers all of this, and then she decides to confront Su Yin, and they have a fight, and it's a really intense, awesome fight in the 8th or 9th episode, I believe.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to bring up their relationship because it's very interesting because they're both totally different people, and they're both different even than Toph.
Yeah. I don't know if they have the same father either. There's a bunch of theories that Sokka might be Sue's father.
I mean, Toph is obsessed with Sokka in the show, in Avatar.
So it could be.
I was going to
ask, they never say it. So.
Even in the 4th season, it never really tells you. Okay, so I guess it's just not that important to the story. Yeah. I feel like if it was going to be Sokka, I feel like they would have said that. But also maybe they left it open-ended for stuff like this, for people to be like, okay, who is the father, you know?
And I think I could see it being more Sokka than Lin's father. Like, Sokka being Sue's father more than Lin's father.
Sure, I got you.
Because Sue's more of that, like, level-headed, but also kind of rebellious a little bit.
Absolutely. Every episode we've done so far for the first 2 seasons, we've talked about how much we like Bolin. Mm-hmm. I still love Bolin in this season. Talking about Opal, Bolin and Opal, very cute together.
Very cute.
Very cute.
I think their like couple name is Bopal.
That's a great name, Opal. I like that a lot. Tell me what you thought about Bolin in this season and how you feel about Opal, and then we can also talk about Bolin's kind of change at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Bolin just continues to surprise me as a character. Like, he's just such a strong person and a great bender.
Yeah.
And it was kind of surprising that he couldn't learn how to metal bend.
Yeah, he tries the entire season to metal bend multiple times.
Because they go to a metal city that Su Yin built, basically, with her husband and her kids. And she teaches Korra how to metal bend.
Who picks it up like right away.
Really quick.
Because of course.
So it makes me sad for Bolin because you see him struggle with it and he's like, oh, don't be sad if you don't get it the first time, because he's been trying it even before this season, like when he was younger. And then he does it, or she does it right away.
Yeah, you can tell he's like happy for her, but he's also upset at the same time. Wasn't there something like that in Avatar too? Isn't it when Toph is teaching Aang how to earthbend? Mm-hmm. And she's like, don't be surprised if you don't get it right away, and he learns it pretty quickly. There's something like that. But I don't remember
it's Katara.
About waterbending?
Something about waterbending.
Yeah, and he picks it up.
When they go to the Southern Water Temple.
Yeah, she's like, let me teach you like these special moves.
Yep.
And he like picks it up really quick. That's right.
From the master that won't teach Katara because she's a woman.
Yeah. But then doesn't Aang kind of redeem himself because he tells Katara that he had the best teacher he ever could have had? God, he's so smooth with the words. Varric is back in this season. Yep. Still hilarious. I even wrote down, Julie, do the thing.
Yep.
I'm glad he's back.
It's actually not Julie, like Jul, like like your aunt.
Yeah.
It's Zhu.
Julie.
Like Zhuli.
I spelled it like jewel, like the nicotine thing, because it's like Julie the way he holds it out. But I could see it's like Julie, like Zhuli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Julie, do the thing. Hilarious. I'm glad he's back, dude.
Yep.
You still like him a lot?
Yes.
Because you told me about how you loved him in the second season. You like him in the season still?
Yep. Season 4, he gets his whole arc completed, and it's awesome to see.
Nice. Okay, so we still get a lot of him in the fourth season. Very nice.
I think you see the most of him in season 4.
Oh, really?
Out of 2, 3, and 4.
Wow,
Yeah.
because
he's in a good amount of season 3.
Yeah, I think he was even in more of season 2 than season 3. It was close though. He was in both of them a lot. So the fact that he's in season 4 a lot is good, because the more I see him, the more I like him as a character.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll just see more of him in season 4.
Nice.
Because he's like an inventor. So in season 4, I won't spoil too much, but they need a lot of his inventing help.
Sure. I'm sure to fight evil and crime. Well, it's ironic that, or maybe not ironic, but it's planned out that this season's called Change, because like you said, a lot of people have like different, they change his characters and stuff. One of those people is Boomy.
Yep.
Who learns how to airbend. Right. I think that's how the show or the season opens.
Yeah, because he's like with Boomju, and he's like trying to get something back from Boomju, and he like climbs up on a tree branch, and the tree branch breaks. And
it's like over a cliff. Yeah.
He starts falling down, and he's able to stop himself from hitting the ground with airbending. And yeah, that's how they find out that leaving the portals open will give people that ability to airbend.
Absolutely. So, because remember in the last season, it was a big point of contention between him, Kai, and
Kaya.
Sorry, Kaya. Kai's the kid. What's the other sibling's name? Tenzin, I guess. Yeah. That he can't airbend. So he has a huge redemption arc in this season, and by the end of the season, dude, he's a legit like nomad. Like he's very good at airbending. Is Tenzin your favorite of the siblings, or is it Boomy?
Yeah, it's Tenzin.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, bro. I just have to say, I literally wrote this down. Tenzin is ripped, dude. And I forgot, it's earlier on in the season. I don't remember exactly what happens, but Tenzin takes his shirt off before he fights, and I was like, dude, it's freaking shredded.
I think
just paleo diet.
I think the animators just did that in general because Korra's ripped, Bolin is ripped, Asami's ripped.
God, Bolin really is ripped.
Bolin's the most ripped.
Absolutely.
Of all of them. There's that scene in season 2 when they're doing the mover.
Oh yeah.
And he like is fighting in the show, but actually fighting in real life. He jumps down and like does the superhero stance, and his like shirt rips, and he like rips him off.
Yeah, dude, awesome, so good, dude. Oh yeah, someone even tells Korra. They're like, "You're really muscular for a woman." And then
it's Bolin and Mako's grandmother.
That's right. And then Korra goes, "Thanks, you too." yeah. But you're right. Everybody's super ripped in the show.
I'd actually say Mako's not that ripped.
He's really not,
especially compared to like Bolin and Korra.
Right. He's definitely like a little more like lean. Still strong, but like more lean.
It's like me.
He honestly kind of looks like
me.
What's the name of his former girlfriend? Asami. They have kind of like similar body type. Yep.
Like
You're strong, Cam. You're strong. You're strong.
As long as somebody else knows.
I know.
Yeah.
And other listeners know.
Just don't watch the video.
Yeah. Just believe. Just imagine with your mind. The scene that Cam was talking about with Bolin ripping his sleeves off, Cam does that almost every day.
Yep.
You spend a lot of money on new shirts.
That's why I have a Kohl's credit card, because I have to use my credit card to buy
all the time on new shirts.
So, yeah.
That's why you do wear a lot of different shirts on the show. I think I have 3 shirts that I wear on the show. How many episodes have I worn that Ravenclaw shirt?
A lot.
A lot. We've done 54 episodes. I've worn it 52 times.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, dude, but just the action scenes and the fight scenes in general in the show, I wrote down too. The animation is way better than Avatar because it's just newer, like the technology's newer. But also, I think they just put more money into it because the first and the second season looked amazing. This third season was even another level up from the first 2 seasons. Every single combat, there was probably a great fight scene in every episode, I want to say. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. I noticed more, I was looking for it more this season too. And I noticed more of the CGI that you were talking about, especially like with the planes.
Yeah, the
and flying and
planes.
all that.
And then in the second to last episode, when they have the fight on the top of the mountain,
Yeah.
that's all CGI.
Yeah, it looks the way the mountains like animated in the background is really cool. All right, well we've talked about kind of some of the main like good characters and all of that. Let's get into the Red Lotus and Zaheer, the villain for this season. That you've stated, I believe on the show you even said this. You believe he's your favorite villain of the whole show.
Yep. I think he's my favorite, but what he accomplishes is I wouldn't say is like the best. I think season 4's villain, what they do is insane.
The most effective. Yeah, man, you're really good at just hyping up. Because when we talked about season 1, you're like, man, the season 2 villain, and then we talked about season 2, and you're like, dude, that's season 3 villain. And now here we are, and you're like, that's season 4 villain though.
I think Korra has the best villains compared to Avatar, but that's just because you only had like Zuko for a little bit,
right?
And then you weren't as scared of him. And then I guess
Ozai was really the only
main, and then you had Zuko's sister.
Yeah, what's her name? She was probably even more of a villain than Ozai was. You only see Ozai at the very end of the show,
and she almost kills Aang.
Yeah. God, what is her name, dude?
I don't know, but I'm
blanking so hard.
It's Mai.
I believe in Avatar, I think my favorite scene from that whole show is the last Agni Kai between Zuko and his sister. That scene is so epic, dude. But I agree, Korra has every villain so far has been amazing. And they're all better than each other in their own ways. Yes. You know what I mean?
That's why it's hard to pick the like best villain. I think Zaheer's my favorite because he's able to almost get away with everything.
Yeah. And he can frickin' fly, dude. That kind of blew my mind.
Also, do you know why he was able to kind of fly?
Yeah, they said he unlocked some ancient airbender technique or something like that.
He has to get rid of his earthly tether.
That's right.
And
he gave up all of his earthly cares and all of his earthly possessions and all of that. Yeah.
And guess what his tether was to the world?
I don't remember.
Piley, his girlfriend.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Then she dies.
That's right. She died. Exactly. So that was like the last step. Okay, so talking about him, Zaheer, the leader of the Red Lotus, and then there's. Do you remember the names of all the characters from the Red Lotus?
Yeah. So Piley is the combustion lady.
The combustion lady. Awesome. I love how they brought that back because they even make a throwback line of like, we hired a guy like you before. Zuko says it. Lord Zuko, who's back this season, he says it. He's like, we hired a combustion person like you before. It didn't work though. Like he's like defending himself. Okay, so we have combustion lady.
Yep. And then Minghua.
Minghua is the lava bender or the water bender?
Waterbender.
Waterbender. Okay.
And
who's awesome. She has like the water bending whip arms. Super cool. And then who's the last one? The lava bender.
Ghazan.
Okay. How do you feel about... You were talking about the lava bender a little bit before I met her in the show. It sounded like you really liked her...
It's a he, but yeah.
It sounds like you really liked him as a character.
Yeah. I think he's the strongest out of the 4 of them.
Sure.
Just like... There's nothing you can really do to stop it unless you have a lava bender, which Bolin's able to.
Bolin becomes a lava bender at the very end of the show and kind of saves everybody in a way. But like you said, lava bending might be the most effective bending because he literally melts the entire air temple.
Yep.
And there's nothing they can do to stop it, which sucks, dude. Like it was the northern air temple.
I believe so.
Yeah. Which sucks because they were literally just spending time rebuilding it and teaching all the air nomads and stuff. And then one lava bender came in and destroyed the entire city, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, so it also kind of builds on the season of how there's like new styles of bending than just earth, water, air, and fire.
Yeah, they talk about energy bending in this season as well.
Because Amon's got the energy bending, and there's the spirit bending, and now there's lava bending.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really cool because I just never thought after.
And you get to see metal bending a lot more.
Yep. I was just gonna say it was kind of mind blowing in Avatar when you first Toph discovers metal bending, and you're like, oh, there's more bending out there. And then in this show, there's a bunch of new ones. Really freaking cool.
Yeah. It's also crazy that they put Korra in platinum.
Yeah.
In like platinum handcuffs
Yeah.
because you can't metal bend platinum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they even tell her, they're like, good luck escaping. These are platinum. And I was like, oh, that's really smart. They thought ahead for sure. Okay, so Zaheer, like you said, he's a great villain. He's very capable. I was shocked. I was shocked twice in this season. I was shocked to find out that the Earth Queen, the Queen of Ba Sing Se, was like totally a dick, totally an evil character. Because you like her at first, and then she lies about there being airbenders in the city because she wants to. I don't know exactly why she wanted to keep
She
all
wants
the
her
airbenders.
own army of airbenders.
Right, but it's not like they were gonna follow her. Like, why would they follow her? You know what I
Ba
mean?
Sing Se.
It's Ba Sing. That's true. That's
There's
true.
the Dai Li.
Yeah. You do see a little bit of the Dai Li this season, which was really
It's
cool.
crazy that the Dai Li still exists.
It is pretty crazy
Because
it's been so long.
Because you would think like Zuko and Aang, after like building Republic City and getting all the peace and everything, they might get rid of the Dai Li, but nope, they're still around, and you see more of how persuasive they kind of are.
Oh my god, yeah. So I was shocked to find out that she kind of was evil and going against the Avatar and the gang. What are they called in the show? It was
Avatar team.
Avatar team, beautiful. She goes against them because she wants the army of airbenders. But then Zaheer freaking destroys her,
He
dude.
takes her breath away.
Literally.
Literally.
I was shocked.
And then he almost does it to Korra.
Yeah, dude. Dude, there was a couple times in this season that I didn't think Cora was gonna die at any point. I never thought that was the case, but there was a couple times where I thought she was in like for real trouble. And even at the very end of the season, she's in rough shape. Like she can barely move at the end of the season after everything she had to go through with Zaheer.
Yeah, she's in a wheelchair.
Yep, and she can barely talk and all that. Does she, without getting too spoilery with season 4, when season 4 starts, is she back to normal? Is she still kind of in a state of
She's able
healing?
she's able to walk again and everything, but
That's
she
good.
still has like nightmares
Okay.
because there's still poison in her body.
Okay. Perfect.
They believe they got all of it out because Janora's like, hey, there's metal in the poison,
Right.
like you can get it out.
Yep.
But
Which was very smart. That was a
yeah.
good way to handle it.
Yep. So she's not able to get it all out.
Yeah.
So she still has like weird visions and nightmares,
Okay.
kind of. So she's healed in the sense of she's able to walk,
Yeah.
but her like spirit is still kind of broken.
Okay. Interesting.
But then you'll see what happens to maybe
Whoa.
not have it anymore.
Whoa. Ayo. So yeah, so Zaheer, very capable villain, kills the Earth Queen, almost kills the Avatar, and then of course at the end the good guys come back and prevail. This is when we get two awesome character moments. This is when Bolin learns to lava bend.
Yep.
And this is when Jinora, basically when Korra, they find out that she's not going to be very healthy for a long time. They're like, who can we look to in this time that we need healing and all of that? And that's when Tenzin decides to make Jinora an official master airbender, shaves her head and gives her the tattoos. That moment was awesome. That might be my favorite moment from the show in general through this point. I loved it.
There's a lot of discussion on why Korra was like crying, because she's like kind of
that's
like
the
kind of
last thing
tearing.
you see,
Yeah.
right.
My favorite is that she's upset because there's no more Avatar past lives.
Right.
So she can't she's in a sense still Aang and all the former avatars, but they can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
So that means like she knows that Aang can't see his granddaughter
Becoming that airbender.
Or
a master
airbender.
I could see that. I thought it was because, I could see that, but I also think a big part of it is just that Korra is so proud
Yeah.
of Jinora at the same time. But I could see that because there is kind of an emotionalness behind it. The way they show it, it reminds me kind of the end of The Last of Us that we've talked about, where like even though like the character's face it kind of looks, everything looks okay, there's like a hint of like everything is not okay.
Yeah.
And that might be what you're talking about, where there's a sadness
Yeah.
of the past avatars, especially Aang, can't
Yeah.
see this moment.
Yeah. So that's one of the theories. Another one is
a good theory.
what you're saying, just like being proud.
Yeah.
And then another one I like is that the past lives are slowly starting to come back because she's able to do the avatar state and have that stuff. And Aang kind of took over.
So it's Aang being emotional about it. I could see that. That's what I didn't want to ask you, because it's hard to ask you that question without having you spoil season 4. But the way that she does access the avatar state almost at will at the end of this season, I feel like she's going to be able, or at least attempt to be able to reconnect to those past Avatar lives. Do we get any more information on that in season 4? Okay.
Don't know.
Okay. Beautiful. Sounds good.
I do know.
I know. Do you know? Yeah, beautiful. Cool. Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Okay, so we kind of touched on the fight on top of the mountain.
Yep.
You believe that Tarlok died because he gets thrown off the mountain,
Yes.
which is Korra's dad.
Yep. Tarlok thinks he's dead, or
Korra
Korra thinks he's dead
Yep.
until the very end of the season.
Yep, because she sees him get thrown off the mountain and doesn't see him again because that's when when Zaheer captures her.
Yeah, and flies away with her. I guess he doesn't need a ride.
I loved that part.
Great
when
line.
he's just flying by them in like the blimp or
Whatever it is.
warship.
Yeah.
Which is cool that those ships are such a big part in the show, is because they designed that in Last Airbender.
In Avatar, yeah.
Sokka and...
I don't remember the mad scientist name, but he's hilarious.
Yep.
Great character, too.
And that's what they use in Korra a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that... like example for like metal bending or anything like that were established in Avatar that are massive parts of this world now in Korra.
Yep.
And I love how they tie that all in.
Yeah, so getting back to Tarlok.
Right.
Korra believes he's dead. You kind of believe he's dead. And then it cuts to him hanging on, like, is it her hand or is it her metal?
I think it's her metal like whip that she has.
Yeah.
I think is what he's holding on to.
Yeah, so Kuvira saves him. And you'll see why she's a very important character in season 4.
Good. I want to see more of her because you see her for a split second in
Yep.
season 3.
So
But just the way they introduced her, I could kind of tell that she was going to come back in season 4.
Yeah, so
or I
she's
was
kind of
hoping she did.
so she's kind of like Sue's like right hand lady, kind of.
Nice.
In,
Okay.
In the, do you remember what the town is called? I don't either.
No, I didn't write it down, unfortunately.
But yeah, so she's kind of like right hand lady to Sue.
Nice.
And
Very
you'll see
cool.
more of her in season 4.
It's funny because Avatar was a great length of a show. 3 seasons, it was perfect, right? And I feel like Korra is going to be the similar way. 4 seasons, it's going to be a perfect length. But I don't think I'm ready for it to end yet. There's only probably 13 episodes.
I think
in
it's
season
either
4.
13 or 14.
Right. Because every season's been 13 except for season 2, I believe.
Season 2 was 14.
Yeah. But I'm not ready for it to be over yet, dude. I feel like there's so much more about the world I want to know.
Yeah, so that's kind of why people have an issue with Korra, is that they leave a lot of things open-ended. I think each season, in a sense, ends fine, but there's a lot that leaves a lot to be desired, I guess. But I think season 4 does a good job of tying everything together.
That's good. Yeah, as long as we get overall closure on the story, I'm happy with that. But I'm sure there's going to be loose ends of like, okay, what happens to, what's Varric up to? What's all this? But that's how you know you wrote great characters.
I love Varric's ending.
Sweet. Okay, that's awesome. That's how you like you can tell they wrote amazing characters because I want to know what happens to each and every one of them. Even like the smaller characters like Opal. Like, is she gonna go live the life she wants to live and not be victim anymore of just like, because she you know she wants to go out with Team Avatar and all that, and she does, but
that's what it is. It's just Team Avatar.
Team Avatar. Yeah, isn't that what you said? Avatar Team.
I said Avatar Team, but it's Team
Avatar. Beautiful. Avatar Team. I like it. But yeah, so I'm sure they won't close every single thing, and they might leave a couple of things a little open-ended. But that's how you know you care a lot about the characters. But yeah, man, I wish it was like 5 or 6 seasons, just because it is so good. Yeah. And I'd say it is as good as Avatar. It's definitely different, but in a really good way. And I think the fact of not expecting it to be Avatar allowed me to enjoy it a lot, just for what it is. Yeah, which is an incredible, great show.
We didn't talk about Aiwei.
Yeah, we also didn't talk about... I want to talk a little bit more about Zuko, because we barely mentioned him. Tell me about Aiwei.
So Aiwei is the... kind of like the secretary, I'd say, of that town. Like, he used...
he's the guy with the glasses, right?
Yeah, he's the one that lets the Red Lotus in.
Yep.
So he's a part of the Red Lotus.
Yeah, but you don't really see him again. He's in, like, the middle of the season, and then he kind of just disappears for a while.
I think he gets imprisoned or something like that.
That guy.
Yeah, so he uses his seismic sense to detect small changes in people's physical responses.
Right.
So he's able
like
to
a
tell
lie
when people
detector.
lies.
Yep. Yeah, that was cool because he was interrogating a bunch of people, and I was like, this is super intense.
Yeah, it's also funny too because Mako's like, this was way too easy to find,
Right.
because they found like some random guy that was part of the military for that town,
Yeah.
was responsible for letting in the Red Lotus, and they were like, this was just way too easy, and who leaves this much evidence just lying around in an apartment?
Right. Yeah. It just
And
seemed a
then-
little too neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Mako's like, oh, somebody else could have set him up by leaving all this
Could have
information,
planted it.
planted it.
Yep.
And then Varric's like, oh, kind of like I did to you. It's like,
Yeah.
exactly what you
Yeah.
did to me.
God, Varric. I love
Yeah.
Varric, dude, so much. It's funny because Mako was like, talking about Mako, he was a huge character in the first 2 seasons. I feel like this is the first season where he really kind of took a step back and was way more of a secondary character.
And do you like him more like that?
Yeah, just because he doesn't get in the way as much.
Yep.
But definitely, I still like him a lot as a character.
Yeah, so that's why I told you, I was like, he definitely, like he's not a great guy.
Right.
And then in season 3 and season 4, you'll start to like him a lot more. But that's because he's more of a secondary character, not ruining a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. Like in the first season, they were about even, but I feel like Bolin was a little more secondary than Mako was. Then in the second season, Bolin kind of came a little bit more forward, and now Bolin is a way more important character than Mako is, which is fine because I love Bolin is possibly my favorite character. But that's another reason how you know this show's amazing. There's a couple characters that I'm like, that might be my favorite character. That might be my favorite character. Speaking of favorite characters, we see Lord Zuko come back in this, and I was worried because when we see General Iroh earlier in the show, you see him for a couple of minutes and then he's gone. When Lord Zuko came in this season, I was like, oh, there's Lord Zuko. I wonder if it's just going to be like a little hi and goodbye, like it was with Iroh. But he's in a couple episodes.
Yeah, because he's in, I think it's episode 4, when they go try to stop Zaheer from gathering the Red Lotus.
Right.
They fail.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's the first time you see him. And then,
I love that he still has the dragons too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then I think you see him in a later episode when he's talking to Korra and everything. And Korra tells him he met Iroh.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you saw my uncle?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's like in the spirit world, and then his face, you can tell he's like shocked.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know if it's more shocked than he's like, I should have known he was there.
Sure. Yeah, but I think it's also just like part of the look to me was him thinking that like it's cool that Iroh's still living on somewhere else, which is like, that'd be such a comforting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was all I had written down.
Okay.
We talked about most of the characters that we really liked. We talked about the story arcs. What else did you want to cover about season 3 of Avatar or of Korra?
It's hard because I've seen it and I don't want to spoil anything for season 4.
Sure.
I'll just leave it as this and tell me if you think it is who I say it is. There is
Okay. Okay.
a person from the gang that reappears
And
in season 4.
it's not Katara
And it's
or
not
Zuko.
Katara or Zuko.
Person from the gang who reappears. I didn't see anybody this season. You want me to
Okay.
guess though? Is that what you were saying?
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying. I was like,
You were seeing if it happened
If
yet.
it happened yet.
If
Okay.
it did, I completely missed it, so I doubt it.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
we know Katara's still around. We just saw Lord Zuko. We saw Aang earlier in the past Avatar state. That's all we've seen from the
Okay.
old. We saw Toph in the flashback
Yep.
with her daughters.
Yep.
But that,
Sokka's not in season 3, I believe, right?
No.
Not in any of the flashbacks or
Nope.
anything. Okay.
no, I don't even know. They haven't even really mentioned Sokka at all, which is a little sad because they talked about every other character basically.
Yeah, I think Sokka had a big important role in season 1 in those flashbacks when they arrested the
Right.
bloodbender
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, and that's kind of the last you've heard of him.
Yeah, there is a theory that is how Sokka died.
Fighting the bloodbenders.
Not fighting the bloodbenders, fighting the Red Lotus, trying to get Korra.
Gotcha. Okay, I can see that. Interesting. Because they haven't even really, they've talked about how Aang and everybody died that isn't around anymore, but they haven't really talked about whatever happened to Sokka.
Yeah, so that's just a theory out there because they talk all about how Tarlok and Aang and Zuko and all of them were able to stop them the first time, but they did have to pay a price.
Right.
And I think that was Sokka.
Sokka's life. That's unfortunate, but that would make a lot of sense. And speaking of Sokka, it's funny because I think that's why I like Bolin so much. He reminds me a lot of Sokka.
Yeah.
Where he's really funny, but when it comes down to it, he's a badass and a hero, but also still really funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Cam?
Nope.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything for season 3. And I'm really excited to see how the show ends. And I'll say it again, I'm not ready for it to end. I want another couple seasons because it's so good.
Yeah. Season 4, like, each time we talk about each season, I'm like, maybe season 3.
Yeah, you're hyping the next season up hard. I love it.
Season 4, I think you always expect the heroes to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think Korra does so well, is that they've been struggling.
They've been struggling, and
like, they've never just won outright. Like, there's always like a big struggle, and you saw that in season 3 especially.
Yeah.
Because Korra gets captured. Tenzin almost dies.
Yep.
The air temple's gone.
Kai almost dies.
Yep.
That's what I like about the show a lot. Is there's a lot more at stake than there is in most. Even in the first early seasons of Avatar, you kind of know that everybody's going to be okay. I did think that what's Korra's dad's name?
Tarlok.
I did think Tarlok died.
Mm-hmm.
I did think Kai died. I thought this was going to be super dark, but I would have liked if they took this twist. It would have been very Star Wars Revenge of the Sith like. But when Korra calls Tenzin to warn him that they're coming to attack the air temple, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's too late," I thought they were going to slaughter the airbenders. Very like Revenge of the Sith style, where it's dark, but it's great story development. They didn't, obviously, but they still destroyed the air temple.
Yeah. That part's funny, too, when Bolin's trying to get to talk to Tenzin, and Milo's, like, talking to him, he's like, "Who is this?" He's like, "It's Bolin." He's like, "I don't know any Bolins."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, you do."
And then he goes, "Oh, yeah, but Bolin's not here right now."
That's right,
like,
Bolin's not here right now.
He's like,
"No,
I'm Bolin." And then he's like, "Yeah, did you hear that we found a big herd of
baby bison."
Baby bison? And Bolin's like, "No way, really?" And they're all
Mako's
interested.
like,
Korra runs up and like pushes him off.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Milo, get your dad now." But yeah, Bolin's all like, "Tell me about the baby bison." Super cool.
That part's awesome. And then it turns dark.
Yeah, definitely. Not quite as dark as I was not expecting to, but I was wondering if it was going to go there. Just because you have told me it's darker than Avatar.
Yeah. It still is TVY 7.
Oh, it is? Not 14? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just because, I thought for sure when they showed up the way that Tenzin reacted, I thought Tenzin was going to die. And I thought a couple of the airbenders were going to get wiped out by the Red Lotus. I'm glad they didn't, but I was like at that moment of even thinking it might go there, which is a lot, like that never would have happened in Avatar, I don't think. But just the fact that the characters are in danger makes it really interesting, really gripping. Cool.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoy season 4. I think what the season 4 villain accomplishes is the one that makes the most sense.
Okay.
And how they do it is really smart and tactical, kind of like Thanos, I guess, in a sense.
Sure.
Where just super smart, and you kind of understand where they want to go, like what their motive is. Video people, hang tight.
What's up, video people? How you guys doing? Sexy
We're
people
almost
out there.
We're almost done with our episode 54.
We're
Legend of
real
Korra,
close.
season 3.
And then we're gonna be talking about
Titanic. 1997 classic. Highest grossing film.
Didn't Avatar beat it?
Oh, I'm not saying highest grossing film of all time.
Oh.
It was the highest grossing film of 1997.
I know, I'm pretty sure it was the number 1 overall, and then Avatar beat it. And then Infinity War, Endgame beat Avatar, and then Avatar came back again and beat Infinity War, or Endgame.
And it's
chaos. But Titanic was on
Disney
the list for a long
owns
time.
all 3.
And I think with inflation, I think Titanic is still number 1. It might be Avatar, but I think if inflation is included, then Titanic for the time is still the highest grossing ever, which I don't it's very believable. It's understandable. God, I don't know. That sentence is rough, dude. I wasn't expecting, the garage really threw me off.
Okay. So yeah, video people, this is where we'll leave you. If you enjoyed this episode and have not yet subscribed, you can do so right over there. If you want to watch our most recent episode, you can do so right here or right here. I haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. But yeah, have a good week.
Beautiful. All right.